Hello and welcome to Think Watercolour. Today's demonstration is all about overcoming painter's block. You know, those days when you struggle to get painting because you're not sure what to paint. What I often do is take a sheet of paper and just draw a horizontal line about a third of the way up the paper. That's it, no other marks. And then I simply paint the sky and see where it takes me. Trust me, the moment you start to paint, ideas start to form in your mind, and before long you'll have produced a landscape sketch. It may not be the best painting you've ever done, but you've overcome that block. So let me show you how I do it. I've pre-mixed some cerulean and cobalt blue, and on another palette out of shot I've got a weak mix of raw sienna and a grey mix of ultramarine and burnt sienna. And I'm working on dry paper, and it's Saunders Waterford 300 gram rough. You could wet the whole sky first to see where it takes you, but I often work on dry paper to have a little more control over how the colours blend. I'm starting by painting in some random patches of blue sky. Then with a clean damp brush I'm just softening some of the edges. I've got the board laid flat for this exercise. I don't want gravity to draw the pigment downwards. This enables me to add pigment or blot out without the colours moving too much. I then start to add patches of the raw sienna and the grey mix to create the billowing clouds. As I add these shadow colours, the whole sky area becomes very wet. And I'm now blending wet in wet and lifting out with a clean brush wherever I think I need it. I keep going with this until I'm happy with the look of the sky, and then I'll let it dry completely. As you watch this demonstration, I'm sure you'll see that I'm adding colour here, dropping in more colour there, lifting out with some clean water. And it's going to be messy to start with, but it will slowly come together. But the thing I'd like to emphasise is it's all very well watching and listening to me, but there's an old saying, watching and listening is learning, doing is understanding. And do have a go at this, because it's just a piece of paper and it's a bit of fun, and it gets you out of that painter's block. And you never know, you might produce something that you really love. Just give it a try, and I hope it'll help you overcome any difficulty you have in getting started with watercolours. As you can see now, it's starting to come together. Just adding a little bit more colour here and there, lifting out here and there. And once this dries, it will hopefully depict a nice cloudy sky with a few patches of blue showing through. Always remember to mix your paint darker than you actually need it. Once you've mixed it in the palette, if it looks the right colour, then just darken it a little bit. The sky is now dry, and I've just added some burnt sienna to the blue sky mix to create this warm grey for the distant trees. It's just roughly sketching them in. It's just an idea for some trees, maybe some hills in the distance. All pretty vague. I want this to dry fairly light, so not being too fussy with it. I've let that dry now, and I'm just using yellow ochre for the foreground, and adding a little bit of burnt sienna and putting in some streaks of darker patches here and there. I've let that dry, and I'm now using quite a dark mix of Van Dyke brown, just to put in some patches of dark on the foreground. I just put a couple of pencil marks for the position of these trees in the foreground. They're going to be the focal points, so I just wanted to make sure I position them correctly. And I'm just using some Van Dyke brown with a touch of neutral tint for these dark patches. The patch on the right is just to help give the painting some balance. For the leaves, it's Van Dyke brown, very weak mix with a touch of neutral tint. Just randomly putting dots of colour in. Adding a little bit of brown to the mix, just a bit of variation in colour. Let the trees dry, and I'm now just darkening them, the trunks and the branches, adding some more branches with a rigger. They're slowly coming together. These foreground trees give the painting some contrast and add depth. As I say, it's just an exercise to get you out of the difficulties of not knowing where to start a painting. A few more dark patches in the foreground. I'm pretty much done. I've just added a little bit more brown to the leaves on the trees, and I'm quite happy with it, the way it's turned out. As I said at the very beginning, it's just an exercise to get you painting, so don't be too precious about it. I hope you found this useful. Thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoyed the video and found it useful, do give it a like. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell for future videos. I will try and post every week if I can. Sometimes I have to leave off for a couple of weeks because of other commitments, but try and post every week, so do keep watching, and thanks again for watching.